the section of 10 men, 7 of them were killed before they got out of the water.
You just have to defend yourself. Like,
what is terrible? Like, bro. All right, guys, welcome back again. So today we're going to be checking out how the D-Day unfolded, newly restored, rare footage from the archives. Now, this is a highly recommended video so far, so please stick with me as we explore it together. Let's do this. Wow, that's a lot of pain. Yeah, like very good.
I'm Murray Brewster. Yeah. CBC was there the moment Allied troops stormed the beaches of Normandy.
This is Matthew Holton of the CBC, where our assault formations are ashore and not fighting like wildcats to hold the bridgehead.
Yeah, you could see. Wait, I don't understand. They came down from the boat, right?
Yeah.
They are running towards the fire. The people that they are running towards are
already
covered.
Positioned.
Yeah, they're already positioned, firing at them. But yeah, these guys are running towards them.
Through it, like it takes a lot of craziness to do this.
And look at this. Look at this gun. This is a machine gun. As of back then.
Documented the eyewitness accounts of hundreds of veterans.
Well, I tell you, I was quite scared.
Our team at the National has spent weeks combing archives to find rarely seen images and to bring you voices now silenced by age.
I can just shut my eyes and bring back the time.
The experiences of those who were there, now restored.
Most of us were violently ill.
In order to take you on a journey back to a critical moment when the fate of the free world hung in the balance. It is getting harder to keep history alive.
I feel very humble being here because I seem to represent most of the old soldiers now.
There are only 9,200 Canadian Second World War and Korean War veterans left alive to tell their stories. One of them, John Preece. He fought in Europe in 1945 and feels the burden of history.
There's only a few left, and I don't feel old, and I feel like all the other guys, and now I wish all my buddies were here.
But at last it started, the enormous bombing and shelling of the coast defenses. We came in from the sea that morning with a terrific volume of firepower.
D-Day, 5:10 a.m. The guns of the Royal Navy battleship HMS Warspite were the first to fire.
Wow.
The pivotal battle, the beginning of the end of Nazi Germany, was underway. Along the misty French coastline, 156,000 Allied soldiers prepared to rush an underwater gauntlet of mines and booby traps and to charge the German guns, fortifications.
Mines and water?
Yeah. Wait, these soldiers were sailing through mines to charge the enemy.
But this is the first time I'm hearing mines on water.
Yeah, no, they normally they have mines. Okay, during the war, right? Or you've never heard about mines in water?
I've never heard of mines.
Oh, they are water mines. Those ones kind of like
deadly.
Very.
It's just sink your ship.
Thank you. They can break the hull of the ship and sink it like.
Wow.
And these guys were going through those mine fields. Do you know what I found amazing, right? I'm sorry, guys, I paused, right? What I find amazing is that when this guy dropped at the shorelines, right, they will be seasick.
Yes,
and then they will be charging the enemy. No time to rest. No time to let me relax.
The person said that they were violently ill.
Ill.
But you just have to. You don't have a choice. Like there's no choice.
Like what is terrible?
Like they're charging to you, just have to defend yourself. Like
what is terrible? Like bro.
Communications and barbed wire. They landed in daylight at 5 beaches. Hours before, Allied paratroopers had dropped behind enemy lines. The 3rd Canadian Infantry Division, 14,500 strong, went into Juno Beach with 5,000 assault troops and 2,500 in the initial waves. Those who were there remember the morning as cloudy, raw, and sullen. 6 a.m. The first wave of the Queen's Own rifles piled into their assault boats. Hector Elliott, a lieutenant at the time, was with them. He spoke to CBC in 1984.
It was about a 2-mile run into the coast. And we spent those 2 hours bobbing up and down in these little boats, and we had seasick bags. So I suppose in a way it was a bit of a blessing, because our minds were taken off the reality of landing on a beach by being ill, being very sick.
6:15 a.m. The assault boats begin their long, slow journey to the beach amid heavy seas. Captain Eddie Goodman of the Fort Garry Horse Regiment led a Sherman tank unit ashore. He spoke to CBC in 1994.
It was a mixed mood. Some people were exhilarated, quite a few. Some people were pensive and thoughtful about what they were going into.
8:02 a.m. The North Shore Regiment of New Brunswick landed at Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer, while at 8:05 a.m., just to the west, A and B companies of the Queen's Own Rifles touched the beach at Bernier-sur-Mer. Lance Corporal Rolf Jackson was with B Company when the ramps went down. He spoke to CBC in 1998.
I was hit and knocked off my feet. This would be within 15 feet of leaving the landing craft. And when I came up out of the water, there wasn't many of the section left. The section of 10 men, 7 of them were killed before they got out of the water.
In the skies over Normandy, Squadron Leader James Stocky Edwards, one of Canada's highest-scoring aces, was looking down from the cockpit of his Spitfire.
The water was very rough down there. They were putting people off in when it should be shallow and it's deep, and they're going underwater with the tanks and troops with their gear on. But other than that, there were lots of good things, and the landing was a success. But there were a lot of suffering from it.
8:05 a.m. Canadian troops reported being under intense fire, with the Germans lobbing 16 shells a minute onto Juno Beach. Major Charles Dalton was also with the Queen's Own Rifles and landed directly in front of a concrete bunker. He spoke to CBC in 1984.
The man on my right was hit 6 or 7 times in his left arm, and I was not hit. If I had been in his place or a little closer to him, then I would have got those bullets down the center. But I did not get hit until I got to the wall. I got all the way in. But everybody to my right was a casualty one way or another.
Almost half of Dalton's company was lost coming across the beach. The Queen's Own took the highest casualties of any Canadian unit on D-Day, 143 dead and wounded. In a fit of daring, a handful of Queen's Own made their way up the beach and around behind German defenders, driving them back from the shore. It was largely the same story all along the Canadian beachhead, with the Winnipeg Rifles, the Regina Rifles, and the North Shore Regiment of New Brunswick clawing their way forward with tanks and artillery supporting them. 9 a.m. Bernier-sur-Mer was cleared. Local residents who had been sheltering in their homes during the Allied bombardment and fighting were overjoyed. They showered the Canadians with food and apple brandy, known as Calvados. Along the Orme River and the Caen Canal, Canadian paratroopers fighting with the British 6th Airborne guarded the eastern flank of the invasion against a German counterattack. Despite being scattered all over the drop zone, the 1st Canadian Parachute Battalion cut the bridges at Verivelle and Robillon. Sergeant Merv Jones spoke to CBC in 1964 about the jitters of his nighttime jump.
Well, I tell you, I was quite scared. And I even asked the jump master at the specific time if we could change places. But we'd been so trained in this light business, red, don't go, green, go, that he says, oh, no, don't worry about it. We haven't got time to change you. That when the red, green light did come on, automatic, due to my training, out I went.
11:45 a.m. As captured in this rare color footage shot on D-Day, the 3rd Division deployed its reserves, infantry, tanks, and artillery.
That was the first balloon aircraft, something that they built back then.
In a second wave. It was the job of HMCS Algonquin and other Allied warships to keep up the bombardment on surviving German fortifications, some of which didn't surrender until late afternoon. Further out in the English Channel that day, Alex Polowin aboard HMCS Huron.
Now our job, like many people pointed out to me, well, you guys were lucky. You bombarded the coast and then you left. Nothing like that. We were in the channel about 7 months. Our job was to protect the people that were going in for D-Day, their ships, their boats that were there. That was our job. To find the enemy ships that were doing that, that were coming down to do that. We did, we prevented them.
The Navy's other job that day, to evacuate the wounded back to England. By the end of D-Day, Canadian casualties totaled 1,096, of whom 381 were killed in action and 574 wounded, a far cry from the 1,800 casualties Canadian military planners had expected.
Whoa!
Noon on D-Day, German commanders on the ground had warned beforehand the invasion would have to be crushed on the beach. Hitler, believing Normandy to be a feint, refused to release his panzer divisions until late in the day. An advisor to German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, Admiral Friedrich Rüge, says by then it was too late. Rüge spoke to CBC in 1984.
We knew that the battle was lost. You see.
When?
At once. As soon as a third front started forming.
5:30 p.m., the Germans counterattacked. Although bloodied, the Canadian lines held. It was a taste of what was to come. In the weeks that followed, Normandy turned into a killing ground. It took over 80 days for the Allies to break out and then sweep northeast through France, Belgium, Holland, and into Germany, helping to deliver a death blow to the Third Reich.
Wow.
By sunset on June 6th, Lance Corporal Rolf Jackson of the Queen's Own could look back at the beach and see the price of the victory to come.
I watched my sergeant, a Jewish lad, Freddie Harris, first out of our craft, never got out of the water. Johnny Gibson, my corporal, never got out of the water. Fred Eamon, rifleman, never got out of the water. Ted Westerby, never got out of the water. John Kirkland, Boynton, neither one of them got out of the water. Doug Reed, my number 2 on the gun, never got out of the water. Al Kennedy, we got Bren Gunner, never got out of the water. Doug Reed's brother, the 2 of them are buried in 6 feet apart at Benny Samir at the cemetery. These are people these are only my guys, my tent.
80 years later, a final salute. John Priest makes sure to place his candle atop the gravestone of General Harry Crear, who led the Canadian Army during the campaign in Northwest Europe.
This is too much. It takes me back to the old days. I think all these guys here. Don't forget, so many of them I knew. And many of them weren't much older than me, in those days. We had young men.
They say the price of freedom is so steep that we can't actually count and put a measure to it. Many of those men that day never made it off that beach. Many of them did not even get out of the water. Mm. What I find so heartbreaking is this, right? There was a moment in the video I wanted to tear up, but I tried to hold myself. I don't know why I'm even tearing up right now. What I find so hard in the video was when they said they were all sick, yet they charged the line. A few days ago, the reason why this whole part got to me very well was a few days ago I was very sick and I had to drive to the hospital. You see, that few minutes drive to the hospital was the most hardest thing in my life. And I was just driving to get treated. Then imagine these men, extremely ill, seasick, getting off their boats to fight.
Charging to action.
To fight, like
I feel we don't give them much accolade like they did.
Honestly, we don't. We don't.
The freedom we actually have to today want to do is it's their life they laid their life for us to actually live what we're able to live today. And I feel like they don't get enough accolades for that. Because it's crazy you're running into bullets, you're not knowing what will be your outcome. Like, you just can't go back.
Yeah.
Why are you going back to the water? Or like, where
Look
are
at
you
the guy that said, the guy beside him was shot
Just
7 times
in his arm.
in his arm. If he was even an inch close to that guy, he would have been shot too. He said the whole people at his right hand, was
Gone down. That's crazy. Like, it's not about being skilled enough, it's just luck. But it's crazy because they're trying to a fortress where the enemy have actually planned the whole battlefield.
their mindsets.
Like,
It's just like
do you
me
know
now.
how rugged you have to be to do that?
Thank you. It's just like me now. I'm in an open space. My enemy is behind shielded walls, and I'm charging.
And they're prepared, like,
And
they've
thank
been there
you.
prepared for you to come, and you're charging to it. Like, the bravery they have, like, I think they deserve Medal of Honor, like, for real.
Every single one of them
It takes a lot of
does.
bravery to do that, like.
Every single one of them.
Because some people will be like, how will we go into this? Like, we should find another route or air bombing or something to divert it. Because, like, just charging into, and not like it's a perfect battlefield. It's from the water.
From the water, you're even coming from a disadvantage. Like, you're coming
Like,
from a
from
disadvantage.
the onset, they are disadvantaged. Like, you're the losing side.
Yeah, they are
But yes,
giving you
they still
3-0.
push forward to break through. Like, it takes a lot of bravery and courage to do that. Like, these guys are the real superhero.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
these guys are the real superhero. Like, we watch a lot of Spider-Man, Batman. These guys are they don't wear cape, but they are the true heroes. Like, for real, guys.
They shaped history, and we are forever grateful. Please, I don't want to make the video long. Please let me know what you think about this video in the comment section, and do well to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Join our membership and become a part of the Valley family. See you on the next one. For now, bye.